What's up, bookish babes? Welcome or welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over all the books that I read in the month of April. So, end of the month, same routine. I want to share with you guys what I read, and we're gonna first start off by reading the book, talking about the books that I read on my Kindle, because if I don't go ahead and discuss those, I usually forget that I read a book on the Kindle, because I don't usually own the physical copy of any of the book. Well, let me not lie, I don't own any of the copies of the books that I read yet on Kindle. So let's get that out the way. Now let me see. The first book, well, it's not even going to be in order because the books that I read on my Kindle kind of came after a couple books, physical books that I read. But my brain, like at the end of the month, it feel like I read these books like 2-3 months ago, because I usually cannot remember what books I read. Okay, the first book I read on my Kindle was The Housemaid Secrets by Freedom and Fat, and I gave this book a 5-star. If you haven't read The Housemaid by Freedom and Fat, and you should do that and then go into The Housemaid Secrets. I gave the book a 5-star because I absolutely love Millie. It's just something about the way that I don't know, it just, Miss Frida she'd be putting something in between her page of her books, because I read that book in one day. Well, most of all the thrillers that you're going to see in this TBR, I read in one day, because I was doing a reading thrillers for a week, and I ended up cutting that video short because that video had me extremely jumpy. Like, I was just extremely jumpy for no reason. But like I said, I read The Housemaid Secrets by Freedom and Fat, and I gave the book a 5-star. I absolutely love Millie. I love Enzo. I just love everything about that book. I just need another book about Millie, and I think that would suffice my cravings. But I absolutely love Millie. That book is a 5-star. The next book that I read on my Kindle was Never Lie by Freedom and Fat, and I gave this book a 4 stars. It's basically about this lady. First of all, the ending of this book had me straight thrown for a loop, because if you read this book, I totally thought it was the husband. Like, we're just gonna put that out there. No spoilers, but I totally thought it was the husband. But it's about this doctor. She's a psychiatrist, and she was having sections with her people. Not hold on, because that did sound like I said a whole nother word. She was having therapy sections with her clients inside of her house, her patients inside of her home. And one day she came up missing, and she just disappeared, and nobody knew what happened to her. And this married couple ended up touring her old house and realized like she left everything behind. And of course they knew about her being missing, of course they knew everything, but when they got there, they was like, oh, this must be her home. And it just was a whole twist and turn to it that just really got me. It was like a 285-page book, so that was fairly easy to read. It was easy to get through. I enjoyed every bit of it. Like I said, the ending I did get surprised by the ending, because I thought it was a whole nother person. But if you haven't read that one, you need to read Never Lie by Freedom and Fat. And the last book I read on Kindle is The Good Lie by A.R. Torres. Now, that book I gave a 4 stars as well. It reminded me so much of Criminal Mind. If you're a Criminal Mind a Criminal Mind fan, you should read A Good Lie by A.R. Torres. The Good Lie, about A.R. Torres, as I keep saying. It's about this rich mom and her son end up going missing, and they feel like he's a victim of the BH killer, and I think like the Bloody Heart killer. He's a victim of that, but he ended up coming home, and that was so out of the ordinary, because they was like, he keep his victims for 7-8 weeks at a time, and then when he get tired of them, he them. So after that, after he ended up home, it came to a whole investigation, and this other man was wrongfully accused, and they ended up finding out who did it, and it just mind blown, mind blown. It was just like so many plots and twists and turns in this book that it just threw me for a loop, and I really did enjoy every bit of it, every bit. Now, on to the physical copies of the book I read this month. Last month, I did mention that I was reading City of Bones by Cassandra Clark. I ended up finishing the first day of April. So, I'm going to put this in this one. I believe I gave this book a 3 stars. I just need to read more because there's nothing really I can say about this one. I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it. But, I mean, it just wasn't... It was the first book in the series. That's all I can say. It gave first book syndrome in the series. So, we're going to dive into some more books by her. And I'll let you guys know what my thoughts is from there. Because I don't want to rate a series off of one book. So, that's that on that. 3 stars for City of Bones. Now, the next book is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jules. I enjoyed this book so much. I believe I gave this book a 4.5 stars. It's about this girl who goes missing, and the mom ended up dating this man, and he has a daughter that reminds her of her daughter, the one that went missing, Ellie. Her name is Ellie. Ellie Mack went missing when she was 15. She went to the library on a day in June, maybe, let's say, and she never returned home, and she was missing for like up to 10 years. Well, yeah, for 10 years she was missing, and her mom ended up finally dating this guy named Floyd, and Floyd had this little girl by the name of Poppy, and Poppy reminded L'Oreal of her daughter. She said she reminded her daughter. It was like eerie, close to resemblance. But the way that this book ends and how it plays out and everything, like, I mean, I feel like as a parent, I would check out anybody and everybody that had something to do with my child within 5 to 6 months before she went missing. Everybody that I know of, any adult child, I would go into like it. Listen, detective mode, because I'm gonna find my child. But this, it was crazy because her daughter was right up under her nose the whole time. She did not know, and child, 4.5 stars. Amazing book. The next book is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. Now, I was telling you guys how much I love The House Across the Lake. I am going to reread that book because I enjoyed that book so much. Like, that was like the very first, well, no, it's not the very first thriller book I read. The very first thriller book I read was Silent Patient, and then I read Perfect Marriage. But that was the third book. And I enjoyed that book so much that I was like, I wanted to dive into more of his work. And I read Lock Every Door by him, I want to say sometimes 2-3 weeks ago. And it's about this girl who gets hired to babysit, basically, to house sit. There it is. To apartment sit. This her dream apartment that her and her sister has always talked about. Her mom passed, her dad passed, and her sister ended up going missing. She don't know where her sister is, but she ended up getting this opportunity to live in this high-rise penthouse apartment, and it was in a building called the Bartholomew, and she ended up getting the opportunity to live there, and she found out some really eerie things, and some crazy stuff ended up going on in this book. I gave this book a 4 star. Absolutely loved it. And I cannot talk. But I'm going to purchase another Riley Sager book because I want to see if it's, if it was just like a one-hit wonder. Well, a 2-hit wonder. And see if I really like his writing. But so far, so good. 4 stars for Lock Every Door. Now, on to the most hyped up books on TikTok. And that is Once Upon a Broken Heart. I seen a lot of people reading this book last month, like in the month of March. I seen a lot of people reading this and hyping this book up. This book, it does give me Alice in the Wonderland type of vibes, but I really gave this book a 3-star because it just didn't strike well to me. Like the first book syndrome. Like I said, first book syndrome. I liked the book. I enjoyed the characters. Evangeline, she was an airhead. She was very naive, and she just always had this, I don't know, like she just bothered me. She really bothered me because why would you, like, it's just like people kept doing things to her and she was just like, oh no, that's not it. She wasn't trying to do that, or he wasn't. No, a snake is a snake, a giraffe is a giraffe, an elephant is an elephant. Stop trying to make it be different. She was trying to make everything be different. Like, no. 3 stars for this one. But the end of this book, it made me want to dive into the next book, which I did, and I read The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This book right here, I want to say, did I give this book a 5-star? I believe I did, because the end of this book I cannot wait till September. I ended up getting this book a 5-star. I cannot wait till October, because that's when the next one come out for Curse of True Love, something like that. That's the name of the book. I'll put it right here on the screen for you guys. But I ended up getting this book a 5-star. I enjoyed this book so much. The ending of it, the middle of it, the beginning of it, it's everything. And like I said, Evangeline was still the same person. Her and her little one magic trick that she learned, and she just could not stop using it. She just, I don't know. She was very much giving me, I can't even explain, because she was just like one of those people that you, like the people that just do stuff and then you just be like what? Like, why would you do that? Why? Like, why? Like, why would, like, she wanted to, I wouldn't be her friend. In real life, I would not be her friend because she would get on my nerves. Point blank period. She would get on my nerves. But those are all the books that I read in the month of April. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next video.